Hi folks, my name is David Robert Lewis.
Yes.
I'm an anti-apartheid activist,
Yes.
and this year is the 20th anniversary of the 1994 election, the first democratic election, and there's some things I need to talk to you about,
Yes.
so I'd appreciate if you ask me some questions.
You know, there are the born frees, né? And the born frees are born free to practice all kinds of freedoms. And then that gives us lots of basic human rights. And I understand you have had some serious trouble
Yeah.
with that expression of your basic human rights. So maybe let's just lead into it with that, yeah.
Yeah, well, I did experience the brutality of the apartheid system. I fought against the apartheid system. And I've got a background in the struggle press. I've worked for Grassroots, South Press, New Nation, and so on. But I think what we're really wanting to discuss is if this was today, if it was 1994, we've had our first democratic election, and after the election there was this run-up. It was a constitutional assembly in which our democratic freedoms and rights and responsibilities were codified in terms of the Constitution and the new Bill of Rights.
Yes.
And I actually contributed to the Constitution of this country.
Thank you. Yes.
There's some things in the Constitution which I directly influenced and had. I wasn't part of the actual framing of the Constitution, but I campaigned for rights like sustainable development, cognitive liberties, for instance, and the inclusion of communications freedom. It's a very liberal constitution that gives people the rights to communicate freely, not to have their privacy of their communications infringed, and so on. But to get to this problem of 20 years now looking back,
Yes.
at back then we were so optimistic and we had all this youthful energy. I was one of the last generations to experience apartheid, so we were very young and a bunch of kids fighting against the system, and we had all these ideas, and we thought if we just put in place some kind of a legal
Yes.
constitution that all the problems would somehow be rectified. 20 years later,
Yeah.
I'm talking to you now as a person who's been violated by the apartheid system that refuses to die. We haven't gotten rid of the apartheid system. We're still classified according to race.
Yes.
And there are a lot of problems. I've got an 8-year long-standing dispute with an apartheid media company
Yeah.
which refuses to acknowledge the TRC process. They refuse to participate in the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and actively opposed the findings of the commission. To give some context to that problem, is I found myself with this career in the struggle press, working at a Media 24 community newspaper, where there was still race segregation in the newsroom, and this is now 2006.
What happened? Tell us.
I was frog-marched out of the newsroom by an Afrikaner whose views were very different to mine. I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty of the issues because the matter is still sub judice. There's a process of legal review
Okay.
in which now 8 years after the incident, the case has gone through the labour courts. There's been a labour review process. There's been a decision handed down by a judge. Now the allegations of corruption because the judge he failed to recuse himself in a matter affecting his business and political partners.
Okay.
And I've then taken the matter for review to the Human Rights Commission. It's been through an appeal process at the Human Rights Commission, and now there's a judicial review process, 180-day process for me to file a petition at the at a South African court to have the decision of the Human Rights Commission overturned. Now, the problem with this whole case is that is the problem of apartheid denial, and the other secondary problem is the problem of my Jewish identity. There's a fundamental issue to do with the interpretation of so-called Jewish law. Media 24 have been asserting that Jewish law is something that's very stringent and codified and restrictive of what a Jew can or cannot do. Effectively, the decision handed down by the court allows employers to interrogate employees on issues of religious doctrine. The decision as such also goes so far as to provide religious instruction. And I've got a fundamental objection to being forced into a particular religious outlook or to